adventure into our room with
Donald.
Hey Magical Misfits, it's Kaidain Ivy and welcome back to Atonement for Me in my room. Our room, sorry.
You painted it.
Yeah, I was kind of more...
I helped with just that one thing, and really just conceptualized and stepped on the mirror. That's it.
I love it though.
That's all I did.
I always wanted a room that had a whole bunch of mirrors just reflecting off of each other.
Seizure-causing devices.
Yeah. Just... I like the way that you can play with space and make it...
glittery.
And make it just a different surrounding. Because...
change the ambiance.
Yeah. Not just in the way that like color is, but we have the window clings that in the morning there's rainbows all over that side of the room. I love it. I know you hate it.
I don't hate it.
I love the way that the mirrors on that wall reflect the window so that it looks like there's a cathedral.
And it gives it like a more space
Yeah.
as well.
But sometimes the trees and the street outside get reflected into the mirror, but onto the...
people walking and stuff.
Yeah. It's really cool because it adds so much more dimension to the room. Even the way that the little mirrors kind of pick up on the glitter, it just makes it seem...
They pick up on everything. The glitter, the sunlight, the moonlight, street
Yeah.
lights.
It just makes it seem like it's not just four walls, that it expands
There's a
further
ceiling,
from
too.
it. Well, I haven't finished the ceiling though. So, but it's going to be a further expanse of the cathedral theme.
Well, plus it goes out into the hallway and stuff as well. So it's like...
And that extends into the theme of the hallway. Every room in our house has a theme, but it connects.
It's like this karaoke bar in Wales I went to, where like there's like a Western theme, like a space theme. Like every room there's like a theme for you to sing karaoke in.
I mean, you're talking to a Filipino.
There was a jungle one too. It's cool.
But they still all connect. So even though the hallway downstairs is a different theme and a different color scheme, it still connects with this room and the hall, but just in different ways. And it just adds a lot more depth to just a smaller space. And it was definitely a way of me uncluttering some of the things in my head from that just kind of were like emotions or thoughts or feelings that just kind of were sitting and just needed a place to go out and just be. There is so many layers of paint in here. There's layers of holographic paint and glitter and holographic glitter and gold glitter and then pearl for some of the iridescence. So it starts off with the cathedral columns. Is that what columns and arches. And
Arches.
it kind of bleeds into butterflies on that wall, which kind of bleeds into this silhouette of stained glass window with the butterflies kind of flying off from one wall and to something that's a little bit more graffiti to match the kind of Banksy-inspired cathedral in the hall. And the angel eyes was for Tyler. And then that kind of blends into the galaxy, which kind of incorporates the window and then bleeds into the mural over here, which is a smaller version of a cathedral that kind of projects the larger one that's over the bed, where we have the stained glass kind of bleeds into the waterfall that's over in the corner, and that kind of just ripples out and down, kind of flowing this way, because we had the light in the corner and I wanted it to reflect off of the way that the water would be cascading down the wall. And then that kind of connects the colors into the stained glass. It's a single mural that is broken down into smaller murals.
It's kind of like a dream where it's like every time you look someplace, it's something different.
Yeah. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure dream where you can start at any point in the room just looking at one thing, and that will naturally lead you into other things that are kind of reflected and mirrored all throughout the house. So the bits of star and mirror also travels through the house. So does the glitter. And then every so often in every room there's handprints that are kind of almost as if they're from the other side of the glass. And that's why sometimes all the colors bleed down the walls. So it's not like, here's a piece of art, this is the picture, this is where it begins and ends. It doesn't have that boundary, it doesn't have that border. Because I love how in oil paints you can soften everything and make it really, really smooth, and it blends really well. You can't necessarily get that same effect with cheap acrylic paint, but you can get that effect when you water it down and you can make it into watercolors, and then you can have some of the paint diluted and kind of bleeding through the house, while others is a little bit more opaque, so it gives you a little bit more of a statement piece. So it acts as art pieces on the wall. So where I would have hung something on the wall, like a picture or a poster, I've painted onto that section with a little bit more detail or a little bit more dimension, so it still frames the room as you normally would. It's just in my own way, and something that's very, very loud. And you can get a little bit more of the feathering when you do use an airbrush and you use spray paint. But I didn't want to use a lot of spray paint inside. It's just not good for anybody's lungs. And even though it is my house, we don't want any problems along those lines.
Because sometimes I write raps, and they might not make the sense at the time that they do to someone else when I show it to them, and then they'll make me see it in a different light, and I'll be like, oh wow, I didn't know that I was like spot on like that with something else. Like I was actually talking about something else, but just because the way art is so
subjective itself.
But it's a visual diary.
Yeah.
Because it's all the things that I don't have the words for. So that's why it's sometimes really difficult to explain all of it, because it's all the things that I can't explain. And that's just the tea.